Hi, Donna. This is for laser day, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure. Thanks.
You're welcome. I know.
Hi, June. Hi, Donna.
Hey, John.
How was everyone's summer?
Summer went by really quickly. I
Yeah.
thought so.
I don't think any
How
of
was
us are
yours,
ready.
John?
It was really nice. I got to do a lot of really fun things with family, and so very happy about that. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, not quite ready to be back teaching again, but so be it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tracy.
So I just sent everybody an email with a link to the presentation. And I asked Connie to make some of you co-hosts because my technology, I can't be trusted to help with Zoom this week until I figure out what's been going on. It's been chaos. Donna, you saw on Monday how it was. Donna helped me out on Monday in a breakout room. And then last night was the most chaotic dual enrollment orientation in like the history of Zooms. The only thing worse that could have happened would be if it had gotten Zoom bombed by somebody who was naked. It was just trying to enroll. The breakout room functionality wasn't working, and there were more than 260 people at the meeting. And so we had to manually add them. It was crazy. And I couldn't, my Zoom wasn't working, so I couldn't add anybody. So Robert Melendez and Amanda Romero did the whole thing. It was nuts. So I have PTSD from Zoom problems. And until I figure out why that happened, I don't trust myself to host a meeting, put someone in a breakout. I don't want any reliance on my Zoom. for any reason.
So how are we gonna do this then? You're gonna just make us all co-hosts, and should we share our individual screens when it's our
No,
department's
I'm
turn?
gonna have Connie. Connie can handle all the, I've asked Connie to, she can forward us through our slides
Okay,
and handle all of that. And then I just will have her make a few people, I don't care who, anybody who's present can just be as like a backup co-host in case Connie's technology fouls up, and then she can say, hey, Donna or John, you're the co-host. But as I said, I mean, just last night was unbelievable. We had a 1-hour orientation and 25 minutes of it, the breakouts were supposed to last 30 minutes. It took 20 to 25 minutes to get everybody individually put into breakout rooms. It was crazy. I mean, I've just never seen anything so chaotic, and people were nice because they wanted to find out the information. Instead of running from 5 to 6, it ran from 5 to like 6:45. It's just unbelievable. I've just, I'm working from home this morning, but I'm going to come into the office. I think it has something to do with the Mac. I'm not on my Mac right now, but as I said, I have PTSD after 2 very bad Zoom experiences, one on Monday and one last night. Last night's was the worst. I've just never heard of having to individually put more than 260 people into one of 3 breakout rooms. And what made it worse, and this had nothing to do with me, this was Zoom. Zoom didn't have anybody's name alphabetized. So imagine that you are now trying to find someone, you know, who has not put their name in the chat. I want to go into room 1, you know, and we're looking for them. And I was trying to help find them. And I thought I was putting people into rooms. That was when I discovered that my functionality was completely gone. Like it looked like I was clicking on things and doing things, but none of it was working. And so I had to rely on Amanda and Robert to do everything. Hi, Connie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
I don't know if you saw my email, but all the presenters are listed as hosts.
Perfect. Okay.
So they all have that ability.
Excellent. And so Connie, will you be our official host and get us started with the slideshow? I don't trust myself to share screens. I couldn't share a screen on Monday.
Okay.
Not screens yesterday either.
Okay.
So that would mean you would share your screen and like forward through the slides for people.
Okay.
Let each person just share their own screen since we all have it. Might be.
Yeah, the whole point of having a single presentation was we were trying to avoid flipping, ANR wanted us to avoid flipping around trying to have 8 different people share screens. That was the whole point of having a single presentation. So I don't know, but I mean, oh, hi Mario.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good, good. Just here to check on everything, make sure you're not here alone.
No, we're all good.
Oh, you're here. Okay, I see him on top. I see him.
We're starting to, people are starting to show up. We were just discussing some logistics because I've had some Zoom and problems, and I'm working from home actually, where I have not had Zoom problems, but at home I have connectivity problems. So I can't be trusted at home for connectivity issues, and my Mac at work is unbelievably horrible with Zoom the last 2 days.
Oh, wow. Well, I just wanted to just come in and we have about 400 plus students that are registered or did show up this morning for the welcome session, and they will be let loose in about a minute or 2, and then they'll be coming into your guys' meetings pretty soon. So, but it looks like hopefully no technical issues, but you're getting set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do I get just one?
Connie, go ahead and download this onto your computer. Don't do it from the web. Just go under File and then download that document so that you have it.
Hold on 1 second. I think I have to go to my remote.
Another possibility, when Chris Loeffler comes on, I know she has that little video.
She's not coming.
Oh, she's not. So we're just going to run it for her. We need to get that video.
So how do I?
Maybe I can do that. as long as my bandwidth allows me.
So go to File,
Let's get the PowerPoint queued up first. Yeah, go to File, download it. And then what you're going to do is open up that PowerPoint and share your screen. Chris's video link is embedded actually in the PowerPoint.
okay, so that's on my remote desktop.
Oh,
I
are you
better,
using a remote? Okay. Let's do
no,
it a
I
different
better,
way.
let me go to my,
Yeah, I wouldn't use a remote desktop for this. That would not be a good idea because I've seen how that adds more technical problems. John, have you shared videos before on with PowerPoint and stuff and know how to optimize it for, there's an optimization in Zoom?
No,
Okay, let
I
me see
have
if it'll
not. I
work.
have really old technology,
Okay,
so
let me see. I can do it. Screen share.
okay, here we go. Okay. Let me share it. Is that the way it's supposed to look?
Yep. So you can do it as a slideshow. Click on slideshow.
Click on
Yeah,
slideshow. Where
yeah,
where
yeah.
is that?
Up
Sorry.
on the top. Oh, first say enable editing.
Okay,
then
something isn't, I think this is in the way. Okay.
Click on enable editing.
Let
I don't know if you
me
can
get
see it.
enable. Okay.
Perfect. And then click on slideshow. Oh, okay, good. Click on slideshow.
Where is slideshow?
It's in right up above the
Got it.
right there. You got it.
Should something be happening?
When you click on it, it should allow you to present.
Do I say from
the
beginning?
Yeah, sorry, from the beginning. Yeah. There we go. And that should work. And then when
How do I get it to advance?
click enter. Let's try clicking enter.
Okay.
Should work.
Okay. I don't want to press it now and have it go forward.
Oh, and also down on the lower left, there's some advanced buttons as well.
Down here.
Yeah, I can barely see it, but there are some movement
Yeah.
things there.
Okay.
Just try it.
Connie, you
Click on
can
it
also
now.
use the arrow keys on your keyboard.
Perfect.
That'll
Thanks.
cycle
Okay.
you back and forth.
Oh, okay, that's
So if you
good.
go forward and you need to go back, that's the easiest way I find to go back.
So the only thing I want to test before really quick in the
Yes.
next minute is go forward to anthropology. Click forward.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. And click one more. Let's click
Okay.
on this video and see what happens. Let's make sure it works and we can hear it. Otherwise, we'll stop sharing and we will have to have it queued up and play. Is it doing anything on your side, Connie?
It's circling. There we go.
I think it's going to play in the background. We won't be able to see it.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do is end the slideshow. Stop sharing the slideshow in order to see this video.
Okay, and who's going to show the video?
I will queue it up and try to do it.
Okay, so how do I get out of this now?
You would hit escape.
Do I have a? Oh, here we go.
Or you should also have something somewhere that says end show.
I don't see anything.
Hi, Lou. Good morning. Hi, Eric.
Morning.
All
Good
right.
morning.
I'm going to go ahead and queue Chris's video up, and if we have to go to it at the end, we will. Okay, if it doesn't immediately play.
Okay,
We'll do
I
that.
somehow have to get out of this, but I don't know.
Try the back arrows. Okay,
Okay, here we go. Let's see if
Okay.
I can get back now.
yep, we're good. Let's go ahead and just keep that at the beginning. And if we have to, I'll work on queuing up her video. I'm trying to get it to go. So we may skip out and go back if we have to, because now it's 9 and I'm assuming that our students are going to start populating our room any minute.
Just one question for the slide, for the main slideshow, how do we advance our slides? Are we going to just say next slide, and Connie will-
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
just say next slide and Connie will
perfect.
advance it.
Thank you.
And then Tracy, when we get to anthropology and I get to that page, I should stop sharing.
Stop
that correct?
sharing, and I'll break in and tell you you can stop sharing. and
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna queue up her video and see if I can't, get it going here so that then I can play it.
Can everyone see all of my like mute and start videos up there? Or should I get rid? How do I?
No, it's all fine. I don't
Okay,
see anything.
all right. Okay.
So I think we're just waiting for students to populate our room. Just us for now still.
Connie,
Yes.
my PowerPoint has not just advancing one slide at a time, but each thing comes in one at a time. Like each thing that
Oh, got it. Yes.
I'll be like, I'll go like this or something like that. So you know.
Okay. Just, yeah. And I just keep pressing the arrow and it will do whatever it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those people with ADHD.
Yeah, mine has the same, Connie. So I'll just say
Okay.
next, and you can just push the arrow. It'll just all pop in.
Perfect.
And I know when it transferred to Google Slides, it pushed off the first line of one of my slides. So I'll just tell the students what it's supposed to say, but it
Okay.
doesn't actually appear.
Okay.
Um,
I hope I do it justice. I'm sorry. I'm not that familiar with
Oh, it's just
PowerPoint.
it's just lines of text popping in. So there's nothing fancy about it.
Okay.
You'll do just perfect.
Oh, I have crows outside. I need to mute myself, I think.
And as a backup, if for any reason we have a problem running Chris's video, I will put the link to it in the chat so that students can simply, watch it on their own. They
Okay.
can load it on their own computers. So I'll try to play it for everybody, but if there's any technical problems, that's I'll do.
Tracy, you're fading out a little bit.
I'm actually not speaking. Oh, I don't know. I haven't been speaking for the last 10 seconds. That tells you something, right, about my bandwidth? Yeah, I'm getting the internet unstable connection notice. So I'm putting the anthropology video link into the chat. But I'm
Tracy,
gonna
students won't be able to see
Yeah.
that if they enter after you posted it.
Yeah, I'm gonna repost it after
Okay.
everybody gets in. It's just for you guys. Hi, Jody, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just did that.
Oh, okay.
I saw it and did it.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
It's good to see everyone. Hope everyone had a good summer.
Yeah, it's good to see
Yes,
everybody.
me too.
So let's give it another, let's just give it one more minute to see if any other students join our room. I see a lot of people coming in now. Hi, everybody. I think I'm going to keep my video on just at the beginning to say hi, to show that I'm a real person. And I think we should go ahead and get started. Let's see, are people still populating? We have 31 people in the room, 32. Hello, everybody.
Lots of students. Hello, students.
I know, I'm so excited to see so many people coming into the room. I can see that the ticker is still going up. I think it might be helpful to wait another minute and then we'll get started.
We have an Emma Cervantes out there. I had an Emily Cervantes out there in my class. I wonder if there's any relation.
Well, I just want to greet everybody. We have about 43 people in the room. The ticker keeps going up a little bit, but I think we should get started. We have a lot to cover today. I want to welcome you to the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences. We have our faculty here to talk about the many programs that we offer in studying human behavior and how people interact with one another, how they engage with one another, how they create things, and how we interact with the world and our natural environment. So the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences it's a great school, and we have a lot of great programs. Today, you're going to be learning a little bit about administration of justice, anthropology, economics, geography, human development, sustainability and resource management, global studies, and some of our co-curricular programs such as SocBeh, the Model UN, the XTE program, all kinds of things like that. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Luis Gutierrez, our professor and chair of the Administration of Justice Department, to talk a bit about his program. We're going to save questions until the end. So each program will do about a 5-minute presentation.
Okay, am I on? Well, hi everybody, good morning, and thank you for your time today. So who wants to be an FBI agent? Yay, anybody? Well, if you do, if you're interested in a career as a police officer, as a FBI agent, maybe a prosecutor or defense attorney, then this is a good program to get your start. And so my name is Luis Gutierrez, and I'm the full-time faculty here for the Administration of Justice Department. And we also have 5 other part-time instructors that also teach. We're all retired law enforcement officers, either from local, state, or federal agencies. So I think combined, last time I did the math, we have over 200 years of law enforcement experience between us. So that also tells you how old we are. But we have a lot of pretty good depth of knowledge in this discipline, as well as many contacts and really good resources that are available for students. So I just lost, looks like I lost the slide. I only have one slide, but I'm in anthropology right now is what it shows. If somebody can go back.
I'm trying. It's not responding to my keys. I'm sorry.
Well, no problem. I'll keep going. You know, we have the slide pretty much shows the areas of study that we provide for students. We have 2 certificate programs, one in law enforcement as well, and one in supervision. There we go. You can see that we have a really good diverse courses to choose from. Investigations, evidence, criminal law or constitutional law, organized crime. Those are some of the more popular ones to choose from. We also have a co-curricular club. We're in my co-curricular club shirt today, XCE. And the club is also part and is part of the National American Criminal Justice Association, Lambda Alpha Epsilon. So when you join the club, you're now part of this national organization as well. And that allows us to go to competitions. And we do that both regionally and nationally. We go to a variety of events. And you can see there's a picture of some students that and an advisor that came back with some trophies. We have a pretty good trophy case next to our classroom, as well as other programs. So it's been a little difficult lately with COVID, of course, the travel and such, but we are scheduled for this spring 2022 for a national event in the Midwest. So that'll be exciting. And when you go to these competitions, you're competing with other students, other colleges in crime scene investigations, rule of law, physical fitness, and even firearms training. So we do all that as advisors. We provide you for that training throughout the school year. However, it's really run by students. So even though we're advisors, it's student run. And if you want to really engage and invest in the college community and participate in college events and really kind of, more importantly, enhance your leadership skills because there's officer positions in this in our club that provide leadership experience as well. So that XCE co-curricular club might be a good fit for you. I'm going to, here's just a snapshot of some of the courses we have, and I'm going to provide in the chat my email address in case you need to contact me later. I do have an appointment right after around 10. So if I'm not here to answer any questions, you can always contact me as well. Okay, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Lou, very much. We're going to move on to anthropology. And anthropology, our chair, Chris Loeffler, could not be here, but she has created a video for students to watch. And I'm posting the link to that video in the chat. I have attempted to play the video and to share it, and I don't think I can successfully do that, and I don't want to slow down the program. So I've posted that link in the chat, and I'm just going to invite all of our students to please take that link and watch it after the, either we can watch it together now, we can kind of try. Let me give it one shot. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll try to play it for all of us. Optimize for video clip, share sound. And here we go.
Department Chair of the Department of Anthropology at Irvine Valley College, and welcome to the Fall 2021 semester. I'm out here today at Butler Canyon Wash Ruins in southern Utah at Bears Ears National Monument. This is an important Anasazi site, and you could learn more about the Anasazi culture by taking some classes in anthropology. The Anthropology Department offers courses in physical, cultural, and linguistic anthropology, of course, archaeology, and Native American cultures. We're also participating in joint field classes with the Department of Geography. You could be on one of those trips or join one of our really cool lab classes. So welcome to the Fall 2021 semester, and I hope to see you in one of our anthropology courses this fall. Thanks.
Yay, it worked. So that was your brief welcome. And Connie, we're going to turn it back over to you. And our next department. Economics.
Well, I guess that's where I take over. Hello, my name is Eric Peterson. I am one of the full-time faculty members of the economics department. The other full-time faculty is Adam Galome. He is the department chair. And so I just want to take 5 minutes and sort of explain to you what's going on here with the economics department at Irvine Valley College. And so if we can see the next slide. And so the question is, what is economics? And so I just want to define economics for any students who are wondering or curious about what economics is. And so economics is defined as the study of how people make choices under conditions of scarcity and the results of those decisions for society. And so I always tell students economics is really just the study of how people make choices, right? And so we're really going to unpack what goes into all of our decisions that we make on a daily basis, and then applying it to different aspects of daily life. And so really, again, economics is just the study of how people make choices. Next slide, please. And so as you can see, we offer a lot of different courses in economics. We have an associate's degree program. We also offer an AAT. And so these are just some of the courses you can choose to sort of go through the economics program at IVC. We also offer honors courses for Econ 1, microeconomics, Econ 2, macroeconomics, and we also offer honors for Econ 10 and Econ 20. So we have a robust honors program in the economics department as well. And so now I'm just going to go through sort of course by course and explain sort of the, what goes into each of these courses that we offer. And so the next slide will take us to Econ 1, Principles of Microeconomics. And microeconomics is really where we just understand how individuals and firms make decisions. And so we're really going to think about how we assign value to cost and benefit, and think about how individuals make decisions in markets. We're also going to talk about the efficiency of markets, which are characterized using supply and demand graphs. And then we'll talk about situations where the market mechanism fails, and that might give rise for justification for some government intervention. And so that's pretty much microeconomics in a nutshell. We're really going to think about individual decision makings of consumers and firms in markets. Next slide. And then we have Econ 2, which is our other core core economics course, which is Principles of Macroeconomics. And macroeconomics really focuses on measuring the economic activity of nations. And so if you ever hear anything in the news about economics, it's probably something we cover in macro. And so we'll talk about GDP, gross domestic product, inflation, unemployment. Again, anything you hear in the news about economics is probably something that's going to be covered in Principles of Macroeconomics. We're also going to think about drivers and factors that influence economic growth, and how the government can go about influencing economic growth through monetary or fiscal policy. And so those two courses, Econ 1 and Econ 2, are sort of the core economics courses that are required for many business majors, as well as, of course, required for all economics majors as well. And then I'm just going to quickly go through our other course offerings. They're not as popular, not offered as many sections as micro and macro, but they are very interesting, cool applications that are really neat courses. So next slide will show us Econ 5, which is Personal Financial Planning. This is cross-listed with Management 5, and so it just helps students develop a plan to achieve personal financial goals. The next slide is Econ 6, which is Environmental and Resource Economics. It's really cool that we offer this class here. It is not offered at many community colleges, but it is going to help students understand sort of the economics that leads to environmental degradation. We'll talk about issues relating to air and water pollution, common pool resource problems. This course is only offered in the fall, so we'll be offering it this semester. It's not offered in the spring, and it is cross-listed with Environmental Science 6 as well. Next slide, we have Econ 10, which is Statistics for Business and Economics. This really helps students learn how to work with large data sets. In this class, you'll be using computers often, usually using Excel or SPSS or some other data management software. And this class is often required for many social science majors, including economics. And so this class is very popular, it transfers over, and it is usually required for the major. Next up, we have Econ 13, Global Economics. This just helps understand sort of international production, international finance, and international trade. And this course is only offered in the spring. And so environmental econ is offered in the fall only, and global econ is offered in the spring only. And then our final course offering, Econ 20, Introductory Economics, is really a survey course intended for non-econ majors or non-business majors to take before enrolling in Econ 1 or Econ 2. And it will give you a nice foundation in sort of the study of economics. And so the next slide just shows you our faculty here in the economics department. Again, Adam Galoom is the department chair. My name is Eric Peterson, and we have a lot of wonderfully skilled part-time faculty who help out the department and are just wonderfully knowledgeable in their fields. And so the next slide is the final slide. It just shows that we've got some more information on our department website. You can learn more about the degrees we offer in the AA and the AAT, and it also has links for job opportunities for economists. So I hope you guys will sample some economics courses. I really think it's fun and informative to learn how we humans make decisions and sort of how those decisions affect others in society around us.
Next up, yeah, thank you so much, Eric. Next up is geography.
Wait, Tracy, can I plug one club for econ too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have one of the most popular clubs on campus run by one of our part-time faculty named Mark Collinson. It's called the Financial Finesse Club, and it's they basically meet weekly to discuss issues related to personal finance, investing, cryptocurrency, all that fun stuff that a lot of students think they're getting in econ, but they really don't get that much of that in econ. So if you want that kind of stuff, meme stocks, Bitcoin, join the Financial Finesse Club with Mark Collinson. I'll put his contact info in the chat.
Thank you, Adam. Perfect.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to geography. And Connie, may I ask, is there a way to put this in full presentation mode under display settings?
I'm not sure. Where would I find that?
Right up above the slide, there's a little caret aiming down that says display settings, if it's possible. Otherwise, we'll keep it the way it is. It's fine.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, moving on to geography. Let's introduce John Rossiter and Jody Titus to present.
Morning, everyone. As soon as we get our slide up, next slide, Connie. Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking some time to learn about our programs in the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences. We are the two full-time faculty. I am Jody Titus, the department chair. I also oversee the sustainability program. If you have questions about that, you can email me. And Professor John Rossiter, I'll let him say good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And we are active in trying to rebuild our geography club. So John Rossiter is the advisor. Do you want to give a plug on that?
Sure. The Geography Club is not just for people who are studying geography. In fact, most of our previous members were not geography majors. They were just people that were interested in learning more about the world and the places they live. And so in non-COVID times, we spent a lot of time going on field trips, things like hikes and urban exploration outings. With COVID, we have a lot of possible things we can do, and we're looking for new members, and you have the opportunity to attend a conference pretty much for free if things go well in the spring, if you decide to be a member of the Geography Club. So you can contact me if you have questions about that, and you see my email on the slide there, but I'll put it in the chat as well.
All right, next slide. And we just want to introduce geography. A lot of students have never had a geography course, so we really want to make sure that students see that the opportunity to learn and find how geography intersects and connects with all disciplines. And we do that through spatial analysis and geospatial data. So we love maps, as you can see here, and we want to answer questions about why things happen, where they happen, and we go on from there. So we hope all of you that are looking for electives or maybe still trying to find a major we'll look at geography and see your areas of interest and how you can analyze that in a geospatial format. Next slide.
Connie, can you click one more time, please? So on the previous slide, actually, Connie, if you could just go back real quick to the previous slide.
We got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll go fast.
We're gonna get speed it up here.
Okay, so on the previous slide, sorry, Connie, just click one more time. You saw a couple of maps. We obviously look at lots of maps in geography. The maps there showed what we predict temperature increases to be because of climate change in different parts of the world. And we see the rate of vaccination for COVID-19 in the at least 48 contiguous United States. And so in geography classes, we look at both physical phenomena, things that happen in the natural world, as well as social and cultural phenomena. So that's why we call it a spatial science. We really bridge the physical or natural sciences and the social sciences. Now, COVID-19 and climate change are pretty depressing, but Connie, if you would go to the next slide, please. One more time, thanks. And then click so we can see the map. We also look at fun stuff like differences in linguistic dialects. So what do people call sweet fizzy drinks? They have different names for that simple thing in different parts of the United States. We call it soda in California, but if you're in Minnesota, they call it pop. And if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, they call it Coke, regardless of what brand it is. And so we'll learn why those differences exist. Next slide, please. We're going to really quickly run through some of our course offerings. We have Geography 1, which is our physical geography class. Even though this is social and behavioral sciences, you can fulfill your physical science requirement by taking this class. And we also offer a lab course that accompanies that class. You'll learn about things like weather and climate and how various landscapes on Earth's surface are formed. Geography 2 is cultural geography, looking at all things related to people. So why are population patterns different in different parts of the world? Why do people speak different languages, eat different foods? Why are economies and rates of development different between different parts of the world? Geography 3 is world regional geography, where we look at all of the different things in physical and cultural geography at the scale of a region. So why are things different in Europe versus sub-Saharan Africa versus Latin America versus East Asia? Geography 20 is called Global Environmental Problems. That's kind of a depressing name, but we also talk a lot about solutions. This is a field trip I took students on before the pandemic to the Orange County Water District, where we looked at how our sewage is treated and then re-entered into our water supply. So we're a discipline that gets outside a lot when it's safe to do so. That class is being offered this fall, and we have lots of seats left, and I'd love to have you in class if you don't have your schedule full. Next slide, please.
All right, I'm going to run through this quickly because our 5 minutes is up, but we also offer introduction to digital mapping, and this is a huge growth area. Geographic information systems is used throughout all industries, private, public sector, and we offer an intro class in the spring. We also have a regional course on California geography. So we talk all things about California, both physical and cultural. Clearly, we need to talk about things like drought and fire, but also economic development, housing, urban development, lots of issues for the state of California. And we have an introduction to weather and climate, which also meets that physical science requirement, and that's only offered in the spring as well. So the other class we hope to revive when it's safe to do would be our field study, so we can take students out in the field and have that experience before they transfer. And we have a couple more slides, but I want to have our other programs a chance to talk. So please email us if you have any questions. We enjoy mentoring students. There's plenty of jobs out there. And hopefully you can participate at least in an elective and get a chance to see what geography is all about. This is where some of our students successfully transfer for their undergraduate degree. And we keep in touch with many of our graduates. And the next slide, Connie. Are places where our former students are working. So NOAA, the National Weather Service, NASA, Google, and many other private and public industries. So I hope you'll check out geography, and thank you for listening, and have a great fall semester.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you so much. And let's move on now to, I believe, human development. Connie, you might have to click a couple times to get through all these great places that the geography grads work. And here we go.
Hey.
Donna, take it away.
All right, everybody, thanks for being there with us. I think there's a little display settings up toward the very top of the screen. It's real small, but it's there. Anyway, so welcome everyone to our presentation. The Human Development Department covers both early childhood education as well as developmental psychology. So you're going to see all my cheat sheet notes here. We have classes that directly prepare students for work in preschool programs, after school programs, and infant toddler programs, as well as those that can be transferred to four-year and bachelor programs at universities. Teacher credentialing, a lot of people use our program as a launch pad for their elementary school teaching careers, related fields. A lot of our students go into work not only in the school districts, but also in nonprofit agencies like Children's Home Society and various nonprofits in Orange County. Next slide. So two of our kind of capstone classes, or not so much capstone classes, wrong term, core classes that we have in all of our degrees and certificates are developmental psychology and socialization of the child. And in those classes, you'll learn about child behavior. Teen behavior is really an interesting topic. I think a lot of students, when they get to that part, in fact, I almost feel like our courses should start with teen behavior because that's the thing that is written about least in popular literature. And there's a lot to be learned about what's going on for teens and preteens. The stages, the skills, also looking at parenting and what some of the outcomes are of different parenting styles. And of course, lots and lots of research. With socialization, we're looking at the different agents that socialize our children, media, race, bias, and advocacy. Next slide, please. So what happens in the HD program, and this is going to come up one little piece at a time, so just keep clicking as I'm talking here, and I'll point my finger when it's time. Our courses primarily focus on the development of the child from infancy through school age. So people work in infant programs all the way up to after school programs and in between. And the next little bit there, students can explore activities that are designed to promote growth and well-being. So there'll be a lot having to do with, what are the kinds of hands-on experiences that really promote growth in all the different domains of development. The next one, the crux of this learning will be both in theory and through direct observation. So of course, lots and lots of theory, but theory means nothing unless you can really see it and interact with it. So we do our best to make that happen, even in COVID or even in a pandemic. Next one, thank you. Our courses are relevant to those seeking training as preschool teachers, as well as for parents, potential parents, recreation leaders, elementary school teachers, all sorts of people. I've even had a ballet teacher, gymnastics teacher, swim coach, soccer coaches who take the class and they say, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything differently now with the children with whom I'm working, because I understand the way they think and the way they need to be nurtured. And so that's kind of a fantastic aspect of human development, contributing something. Go ahead and move to the next one, please. Our courses have an approach that really give you the chance to recall what it was like to be a child. So in this class, you can see that the students are looking at creativity as a critical function of cognition. And you can't see that. You think, oh, they're just messing around. But we do talk a lot about how the creative mind is directly related to cognitive function later on, and not just cognition. Like we think that's a great word, that's wonderful, but also emotional development, social development, all of those kinds of things that make a whole human being. And we can move to the next one. And so as a major, you'll be building strong theoretical, yep, so the first little clip there, strong theoretical and practical backgrounds in working with children. So again, the theory and the practice. Right now, there's a great need. So the next one, there's a great need for qualified teachers in ECE. I'm hearing constantly from my colleagues and people in the field that are saying, can you please send us some of your star students? We really need people in our field right now. So there's some immediate employability after taking some of our courses. But students may decide to transfer to a four-year, in order to become elementary school teachers, resource specialists, consultants, parent educators, local agencies like Children's Home Society, the Department of Education. Oh my gosh, my time is up. Children's Home Society. Those are the kinds of places that really do employ. So we can just go through. These are the different types of things that happen when you have a 4-year degree. And there are even people who start those jobs ahead of time. So let's go through. I think I'm almost done here. Yes, I think I have just a couple more real quick. Potential careers with an associate degree or certificate. You can, one more, you can become an associate teacher, like an assistant to a teacher, just a teacher, or a master teacher, which is a person who mentors others who are coming up. But with a higher degree, if you were to take this and transfer, there's one more coming. With an advanced degree, then you can do a few other things. You can become a consultant to schools, a parent educator, workshop facilitator, which is kind of where I got my start in teaching college, was starting off as a workshop facilitator and working with teen parents. It was really exciting to work with people who were kind of in a crisis. And that kind of launched me into what I'm doing now. So there's so many different avenues, directors, advocates, political issues. We keep an eye on a couple of different organizations that do a lot of research, and one is Children's Defense Fund that was started by Marian Wright Edelman, who did Stand for Children back probably 25 years ago now. And that's a really important one of the advocacy groups that we pay attention to. We also take a look at Project Zero, which is Howard Gardner's, and you maybe don't know that name yet, but he's a pretty important person who looks at how children learn. So those are a couple of research agencies that we look at, and we hope that our students will get involved in. So we'll keep going now, quick. And I think that would be probably enough. The next slide, we can just kind of click through quickly because I'm all done, but it just includes the listing of our program. So I won't do that. The next slide we can skip through as well. Yeah, so this is just real quick. I'll just say that we are a CAP aligned program, and that means that we make sure that our curriculum is consistent with other colleges. So if you transfer and going from one college to the other, we have a core 8 series of coursework, a series of courses that fit into an alignment with others. So there's a foundational core of courses that can be recognized across California. And then finally, we have all of our network partnerships. With the M stands for the Mentor Program, where we support you with leaders in the field when you get ready to graduate. We have a training consortium, which helps you pay for different things. It can reimburse your courses if you're working in the field. It can help you to get your fingerprinting done with a stipend. We're also involved with the OCAUIC, which is an organization that promotes early childhood best practices. And we coordinate with the City of Irvine's coordination office, Child Care Coordination Office, as well as the district's Early Childhood Learning Center. That's a whole bunch of stuff. When we come back, our last slide is just a picture of what our classroom looks like that we're super excited about getting back to. But lots of hands-on activities, lots of movement, and that is all. Thank you very much.
All right, Donna, thank you very much. Let's move on rapidly, please, to the next group, which is political science. It is 9:38. We have about 10 to 12 minutes left for presenting, and we've got a few more programs to present. So let's try to be very time efficient if we can, and we want to make sure we have time for student questions at the end. Thanks. Take it away, Shireen and June.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Let me welcome back to IVC. My name is Jun Kill. I'm here with my colleague Shireen Sahani to talk about political science. Next slide, please. So during the pandemic, perhaps we became more keenly aware of the impact of government, from the decision made to close schools and reopen schools and businesses, requirement to wear a mask or not wear a mask in some states, the development of vaccines and treatments for COVID-19, and extending financial benefits to people who have been affected by the pandemic. So I am encouraging all of you to take a political science course to learn about how government functions, how policies are made, and how we as citizens can affect government and governmental decisions. Next slide, please. So what is political science? Political science is the study of politics and government at local, national, and international levels. At its core, we study power, who gets where, what, where, and how. And political science examines study of political institutions and political behaviors of people. Next slide, please. We offer a wide array of courses because of the time limit. I won't go into courses, but then as you see, we offer 10 different political science courses and 2 courses in global studies. Global studies, we examine the causes and extent of globalization, and then the impact of globalization on things like political realignments, economic development, culture, the environment, health, energy, and then many other issues. In fact, my Global Studies 1 course that we're offering is wide open. So if you're interested, I'm teaching the course on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30. So please check that out. Next slide, please. And we also offer honors sections of American government, international relations, and comparative politics. The honors courses are for highly motivated students who want to get into top universities. It has a smaller class size. It has a kind of a, I don't know, some people may consider it a burdensome, a tough requirement of writing a 20+ page research paper. I meet with the students, once every 2 or 3 weeks to advise them on their research. And many students actually finish the course and then they get into top universities. I would say a majority of students who finish our honors courses go to either UCLA or Berkeley, but we've also had students who went to Columbia, Michigan, and other top universities in the United States. So if you're one of the a motivated, student, then please consider taking honors courses. We also have corporate work experience. This is internships where you could gain, experience working for politicians or political organizations or nonprofits. And Diane Chang is in charge of that. So we have internships. Next slide, please. And then if somebody asks you, what are you going to do with a poli-sci degree? That was a question I got when I changed my major to poli-sci. Here is a list, not a complete list, but a list of things that you could do with a poli-sci degree, from becoming an activist, working for government, working in the corporate world, and of course, becoming a teacher. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and the chair of our department, Shireen Sahani, and she's going to talk about our distinguished Model United Nations program.
Thanks, June. Thank you for going over the political science program. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shireen Sahani, and I am the chair of the department as well as the one of the full-time faculty members teaching political science. I am also an alumni of IVC as well as our award-winning Model United Nations program. June left off the last slide with what can you do with a career in political science? And let me tell you, you can have a really exciting life with a career in political science. I know I certainly have. Following my degree, I got my master's at Georgetown. I went to work for the State Department. And then after that, I lived overseas working for a number of international organizations, mostly in the Middle East and North Africa. And a lot of that experience and success I attribute to both IVC as well as the Model United Nations program. So what is Model United Nations? Well, really Model United Nations, it simulates what happens at the UN. So as you may be aware of, there are a lot of transnational problems, things such as terrorism, or how do we deal with climate change, refugees and migration issues, issues related to development. And these are issues that countries can't manage on their own. They need to work with other countries to handle these issues, particularly if you look at things such as climate change. It doesn't matter what one country does, other countries don't also work on those solutions, we're not going to be able to handle this climate crisis that we're facing. So if you're looking for a way to maybe put together a lot of these concepts and theories that you're not only learning in political science, but things that you may have heard of when we heard the presentation in for economics or for geography, you can put all of this together because this is what we look at. How do nations work together to handle some of these transnational problems? The pandemic is also a very good example of that. So we simulate then what happens at the UN by taking on the role of representing countries in different committees at the UN. And IVC-MUN is an award-winning program. In fact, we are one of the best programs, best model United Nations program, not just amongst community colleges, not just in California, but internationally. So we're really well known because we really work with our students to help them build those skills that employers are increasingly looking for, but that maybe the traditional education doesn't always supply. So things such as public speaking, negotiation, things such as working in teams, and probably most importantly, how to think creatively. How do you think outside the box? And these are skills that employers are increasingly looking for, and colleges are also recognizing and looking for. So if you have an extracurricular activity such as Model United Nations on your application, this will make you really competitive. And so I'd encourage you to think about Model United Nations. Connie, if you could just keep scrolling down, that would be really great. So if you're looking to boost your extracurricular portfolio, if you're really looking to get that competitive edge, if you're looking to have some fun, I know in the virtual environment, it's really hard to make connections. We meet every week and we think about ourselves as a family. In fact, we're going to be having our orientation on August 27th, which is next Friday at 12 p.m. And if you're interested, please contact me and I can send you a Zoom link to our meeting. And we'll talk more about the Model United Nations program. You'll get to hear from some of our vets. So let me just highlight Mr. Zach Durkee here on the lower right-hand side. This is at the UN. So we attend conferences every year, and we're planning to go to our New York conference in the spring of 2022. And this was one of our previous conferences that we went to. And we actually get to go to the General Assembly at the UN and sit and be in those very chairs where important international heads of state sit and make decisions. And so you'll get to experience that for yourself and to see what's that's like. And this is really unique. Most community colleges don't offer this kind of an experience. We're very lucky at IVC that both the administration and the faculty have really supported this program. So I'd encourage you to come check us out. I have my contact information there and I'll post it in the chat as well. I'll also post a link to a video that one of our students actually created, and it tells you a little bit more about the program. Just to finish up on Zach, actually, I remember when he first started at IVC, and he went on to go to UCLA, got a full ride at UCLA. He was one of our, he was at IVC-MUN for 2 years. Then he got a job at the State Department working on Asia issues. He just told me he has landed his first full-time job working for a policy think tank in Washington, DC, which he's very excited about. So if you're looking for, career opportunities, if you're looking to build your extracurricular portfolio, if you're really looking to get a competitive edge on your application, if you're looking for a way to put all of those concepts together, if you're looking for a way to understand what the heck is going on in the international arena, check us out. We'll try and put some of that into context for you, and hopefully also have you make some friends and have a good time when you're at IVC. So again, my name is Shireen Sani. Please feel free to contact me. And next Friday at 12 p.m. is when we're going to hold our orientation for MUN. I hope you'll come check us out. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Carrie Tucker, and I am one of the full-time faculty members in psychology. So I'm going to set my timer because goodness knows I can talk a lot about psychology. Anyway, I just want to talk about what psychology is. Basically, if people or animals do it, think it, feel it, psychologists are studying it. So psychology is a very diverse field, and we are in every industry that you can imagine, because when you work with people or animals, you have to understand, right, the psychology behind that. Okay, next slide, Connie. I just want to this is just a fun fact. I thought, oops, I'm sorry. What's happening? Can you go back? I think you went to the next department. Anyway, Okay, well, anyways, just a fun fact. I'll just describe it. I'm not sure if those slides are represented in here. Connie, I think you're at the very end of the presentation there. If you could go back. Anyway, it's okay. I'll adapt. All right. So if I just thought it was fun to kind of think about like famous people who majored in psychology. It's just to illustrate how, varied careers can be in psychology. So again, there's been actresses. So Natalie Portman, there's Jon Stewart. Also Lil Wayne, if you guys know who that is. Also Dr. Phil, he's very famous on TV. He has his own show. He majored in psychology as well. Also people like Mark Zuckerberg also majored in psychology. Of course, he went on to do other things, but certainly psychology is related, as we all know that. Also Monica Lewinsky, right? It was a very famous, or I should say infamous person, but also did a lot of work, I think, to bring out issues that probably was a little unfair to her as she was, becoming very famous for her specific role. But anyway, she majored in psychology as well. But now, and so in psychology, what do? Again, we learn about psychological concepts, theories, and terminologies. We build research knowledge and skills that translates to, almost every discipline. We promote student life skills. We foster personal growth and interpersonal effectiveness. And I would like for you, I don't know, Connie, can you get to the slide where it shows the courses we offer? I mean, I certainly could, describe them in words, but it'd be nice for them to see it. So it looks like they're not on there, but okay. So I'll go ahead and describe it. No worries. This is show business, right? We have to, we have to adapt. Anyway, we offer a lot of courses in psychology. Our three major courses that we offer that are required for the major in psychology are the Introduction to Psychology, Research Methods, and Statistical Procedures. But now we offer a lot of other courses that are just enriching. They also transfer to the university, and we have those classes are very popular. For example, we have human sexuality, developmental psychology. We also have psychology of reasoning and problem solving, social psychology, psychology of personality. That one's really fun. Psychology of adjustment, which is really great. It really is a focus on a new area of psychology called positive psychology. But it's really about optimal living, but also, sometimes when we have challenges, what those challenges are and how to overcome those. We also have abnormal psychology, which is a very popular course because it talks about all those things that are really sort of unusual. So abnormal psychology concepts are not necessarily weird, they're just unusual. Sometimes, they're all weird, but sometimes they're not. And sometimes it's just because they're not very frequent behaviors. So it's very interesting to study that as well. But also we offer a course in independent research, and our students there really thrive in that class. Because in that class, as well as research methods, it allows our students to build skills that translate to the transfer schools. We've had several students in our program go on to amazing places. I mean, they go to the UC Berkeley, UCLA, UCI, and other ones as well. They also, have gone on to Stanford, MIT, and now we have students also who are in PhD programs at amazing places, and they often attribute their success to the start that they had in our department. Okay, so what else? One of the major things that we do in our program is we offer students enrichment in our co-curricular, Psi Beta specifically. Psi Beta is an honors group, but students in that program, everyone's welcome. But to become an official member, there are requirements that are based on grades as well. But everyone's welcome to do what we do. So if you don't quite meet the grade requirement yet, then students stay with us, and then in another semester they might qualify for membership. But we do all kinds of things. I mean, our students really set the tone for what our year is going to be. It is run by students, and it's advised by nearly our entire department. All the professors are involved. We're very close to one another. We're very fortunate in our department that our the faculty members are very, close to one another, and we want to see students thrive. Now, so what do we do in Psi Beta? We do service projects, we do research, we do fundraising. And again, like I said, students run it. So it really is what they want to emphasize in the year. So our first meeting is going to be the second Friday at the start of the semester. So not next Friday, not this, coming next Friday, but it's the second Friday. If you want to know more information, I'll go ahead and put my email in the chat room so you can email me, but they're always Fridays at 12:30. So we meet every other week and students just run it and it's very successful. So even though we were, in a Zoom format, an online format, we still were able to adapt right from the beginning, and our 2 years in a row have been very successful. Our students do field trips. We've gone to the Dr. Phil show. We've gone to the Metropolitan State Hospital. We do social events. Of course, that's very fun. We've gone bowling. We've done other interactive things. We explore careers in psychology. We have guest speakers. We have prominent psychologists come from other universities to talk about what they do. We've had students who've gone into their labs and gotten research experience, and those students have often gone on to graduate programs that were very successful. We learn more about what's the difference between a BA and a BS, a master's and a doctorate, and how to get into those graduate programs and what skills you'll need in order to be successful. So we see as shaping our students now so that when they go to the transfer institution, they're ready to be competitive with those students. And we find that our students who transfer are actually more competitive than the students who start out at those universities, because now they have that knowledge. And often students don't find that out unless they have a mentor. And each of us in psychology do see ourselves as mentors to our students outside of just what we do in the classroom. So anyways, there's more to talk about. I'm out of time here, but I just want to say that again, if people think it, do it, feel it, psychologists are studying it, and it is absolutely translatable to every discipline. So, but you'll learn more about that. I would love to talk to you if you want to meet with me. I will put my email in the chat, and certainly we can meet on Zoom, until, things get back to the classroom. But every student is welcome, and we're really happy to have you here at IVC. We truly believe our university is absolutely the best option that students have around. And I truly believe that. I have students at the UC as well. And I have to say, I think what we do at IVC helps you succeed even better when you transfer than when they start out there. And I've seen that firsthand. So anyways, welcome to IVC. Hopefully you'll take our classes in psychology. We have wonderful faculty, wonderful students, and I'm excited to have you here.
All right. Thank you, Carrie, for being more enthusiastic than I would ever be. So welcome, students. I will cover a little bit about what sociology is about. Sociology is really the study of society. So everything that my colleagues here have talked about, sociologists love to study everything having to do with micro interactions to global politics. Sociologists are interested really in studying how societies change. That's mostly what they're interested in. Connie, if you could go a couple clicks over. I think this got out of order somehow, but to the next slide, please. And next. All right, got a little cutoff here with a little transition to Google Drive. But sociology really highlights our collective ability to change society. And the question is whether it's improving or not. And that's something we spend a lot of time talking about, how societies change. But whether they're getting better, of course, that's always a debate as to what someone thinks is better, may not be what someone else thinks is better. And so we spend quite a lot of time talking about change. And that's the one constant in the discipline of sociology, is it focuses a lot on change, particularly change within contemporary societies. Next, Connie, please. Mostly, we like to focus on how society sort of structure human behavior. That is, what the rules or laws are in society. Informal usually are the most interesting, but also the formal rules, how culture works and how culture kind of binds our behavior to one another, but also narrows down the possibilities of what we can do, and how that also becomes invisible to us when we're a part of a culture. Economic foundations that are always important, how people live, how people make their living. the basic elements of survival is a foundation for every human group. And social inequalities of all kinds. They exist in all human societies. The ways that they exist are incredibly varied, and how they've changed over time is quite varied. So sociologists don't study people as individuals. We leave that to our colleagues in psychology. We don't study the way people think, for instance, as individuals. We study the way people behave as members of groups. And so sometimes it's small groups like families, sometimes it's larger groups like businesses or organizations, and sometimes it's even larger groups like nations, which are really just products of our imagination. Nations don't really exist in any sort of real way, and the lines on maps don't really exist. If you go out to find one, you won't find it. These are just products of our human creation, and that's a fascinating part of what sociologists look at. How do we create the world that exists, even from something that is imaginary, like the concept of nationhood? Next slide, Connie. One of the things, of course, that we all have in our heads these days is the way that we see differences with our experiences with coronavirus and this pandemic, not only in the United States and different population groups, but globally. If you could go to the next one, Connie. This is data that is simple, and sociologists love data and graphs, as all social scientists do. But this is actually looking at different countries, and their COVID death rate per million people is in red. And you see over to the right, the United States and the UK, which have very high, these are selected nations. I didn't, of course, all the nations in the world are not here. But the US and the UK on my list, my selected list here, have high death rates per million. And if you look at the orange bar graph, that's a measure of individualism within those particular countries. And this is just a macro measure, so it's sort of an average. And if you look far to the left, you see China and Vietnam rank low on individualism. Individualism is simply the prioritization of individual needs or desires. We've all heard a lot about that if we've been in the United States over the last year or so. And you notice that the death rate is also tends to be lower in countries with lower levels of individualism. But it's not consistently so. If you look at the Netherlands and Canada, you see relatively high rates of individualism and moderate to low death rates from COVID. So what we like to study in sociology is what kind of variables impact an outcome. What kind of variables are relevant. And so we start to do that. So all of our courses from Introduction to Sociology, Sociology 1, which is what most students take, since most of our students aren't majors, start to answer some of the questions about how the modern world is shaped, what variables are interesting, and how the world tends to look as people start to live in this new kind of reality, as they live in bigger cities, as they live in bigger groups, as they interact in ways that are not not just families and basic kinship groups. So we would, of course, love to have you in a sociology class, but of course, all of our social science colleagues are offering fascinating material. In my ideal world, all students would take courses in social science. Sociology, of course, is my favorite, but any of the social science disciplines are, I think, an amazing educational background for our students and majors. I'll leave it there. And if you have any questions, you can easily find me in the college directory. And so I'll give it back to our dean. I'm not hearing you, Tracy. I'm not sure if Tracy's on or lost her connection.
I don't see Tracy in the list. She might have lost her connection. But anyways, this concludes our presentations for everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for staying over. We did go over a little bit. But anyways, welcome to the fall 2021 semester. We're looking forward to seeing you all. If anyone would like to ask any questions, feel free to ask that now. We have a number of the faculty still here. Does anyone have any questions? Don't forget to unmute yourself. Sometimes you're muted.
There's a question in the chat regarding where do we get the other Zoom links? Ziba, I'm not sure which ones are you talking about?
Are you talking about, whoever is writing that in the chat, are you talking about the Zoom links to the courses when you attend the first day? The Zoom links.
I think she's referring to the Zoom links for other Laser Day activities, probably.
Other departments maybe, or other schools.
Oh, so some of the other presentations from the other schools? Oh, yes, the Laser Day activities. Okay. Actually, that's in the schedule. So you might want to refer to the online schedule for those activities. Those are listed on the website.
Wait,
question.
actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
I'm in sociology. I think, I don't know. I'm in a sociology class for my first semester, and I didn't really get an email for like the course description and like when the courses start. It says to be announced on my site, so I don't know when the class is.
Okay.
But,
Now, if there's two kinds of courses that we offer now in this format, there's asynchronous and synchronous. So if it's an asynchronous class, then what you'll expect is an email from the professor telling you how, what you're going to have to do to start. So there'll be a list of activities, but that will be started by the professor's email that you'll receive. But every student has access once the semester starts, which is on Monday. You'll have access to the Canvas shell. So what you'll do is you'll go onto the IVC webpage and then click on Canvas, and then you should see the list of your courses there, and look for announcements that are placed there. When a professor puts up an announcement, that goes to an email to all students. Now, the synchronous classes, if they are synchronous, it will be announced in the online schedule, and it'll tell you when you meet. So for example, Tuesday, Thursday at 12:30. And in that case, what you'll do is also go onto your Canvas shell. You should have received an email from your professor kind of indicating what to do there. But as a sort of another option for you is to email that professor if you haven't heard from them, and then ask them that question. But usually it's all initiated through the Canvas site, through the messages that are given by the professors.
Yeah, there's also a technical element, which is that if it's an online course, they always say to be announced, but online courses don't have meeting times.
Right.
So no required meeting times. If there's a required meeting time, it would be listed in the class schedule. So the activities in that class will be self-paced by the week usually for the class.
And all of those, again, when you go onto your Canvas, so all courses have a specific Canvas link for that course. So when you go on and log on to Canvas, you'll see a list of all your courses. Just click through to look for those announcements from those professors. Those announcements also go as emails to the students.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, good question, Ziba. Does anyone else have another question? It's a really good one.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you guys. I was wondering, I've heard a lot of great presentations, and I'm interested in a few different areas now. I still want to focus on my specific major, but is it possible to still explore these other classes, but still be on track for my specific major? Or
Yes, absolutely. What's really great about the first 2 years of education is that you take an array of classes that fit in different areas. And so it is possible to take classes in all of these other areas that you might be interested in. Now, one of the things that I'm going to refer you to, though, is to make sure that you have contact with your academic counselor, because they'll keep in mind not only what the course list and options you have, but also if those particular courses transfer to the universities that you're considering. But yes, absolutely. When you're, for example, a psychology major, you don't take all of your classes in psychology. There's a number of ones that you have options and you can take outside of that discipline. That's what makes that first 2 years pretty exciting, to be able to explore that. Yeah, good question. And it's probably a wise idea for those of you who are, here now, to advise you to try to get in appointments early, even if you think that you don't have a question yet, to get your appointment, to make sure that your schedule for the next 2 semesters are in line, because the academic counselors, that's what they do as a full-time job. And so those requirements are often changing, and they're aware of what those are for when you transfer. So, get an appointment with an academic counselor to keep you on track so that you know what your options are. It's a good question. That's a good question, Mel.
Yeah, you will have opportunities, though, for sure, to explore other areas. It would be a shame for you to be locked in. And so I'm not an academic counselor, but I play one on TV sometimes. And I find it to be quite unwise to force students to go through this first 2 years in 2 years. There's no reason that you're locked into 2 years. No one kicks anyone out at 2.5 years or 3. And you can take many more classes than you would have to take in the 2 years if you're interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Actually, Dr. Turner, my mic has not been working, so please excuse me. I have a question for you. I'm taking your Psychology 37 class, and there's no details on the class currently, and I'm very confused as to what's going to happen there.
Yep, you will actually be receiving an email, and the course is designed for you to start on day 1. So it's not expected that you are prepared ahead of time or do any reading before the course starts. So you'll actually have access to the Canvas sites on the start of the semester. So students can't get access until that day anyway. But you'll be receiving an email probably a few days before the class starts, just to welcome you and to kind of get you ready for that first day. So you won't have to worry. You'll have all that information that you need. And then you'll have that entire week to complete a set of things that help you be familiar with the class. So great question. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for that question. All right. Do we have any other questions?
All right. Well,
thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yes, well, good. I'm glad you attended. Thank you for being here.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see everyone. And this concludes our Laser Day presentations for the social sciences. Thank you for being here, and have a really wonderful semester.
Oh wait, could you re-enter the links in the chat for the the link for the registration, Laser Day registration link? I kind of I had to exit out because my Zoom wasn't working. Thank you so much.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, everyone. Have a great semester, and we'll see you hopefully in our classes.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.